we got?
You want
Nah, this
to
is great.
do some forced perspective? So I don't
Awesome. Oh my God.
We can snuggle. It's all good.
Look at that band, guys. Let me just look at you. Look at that compound. That band compound.
Oh, it's great.
The Good Terms band.
The good thing is we're all so different looking, you know?
We have a lot of diversity in this band. That was a big no.
No, guys, guys, that's the kind of band the world needs right now. What we're looking at right now. You guys look cool. Good
Four
Terms band.
looking white guys. I love that.
That's exactly what we need right now. Absolutely. Exactly. You know, it went too much in the other direction, so we need to exactly.
We got to push the genre forward. Push the genre forward.
Oh, guys, that's great, man. But guys, first of all, your new single "Wither Away," it's coming out real soon. What a great stuff, guys! Congratulations, great song.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me introduce you guys to my audience because the name may seem new, the Good Terms band, but these guys, Ivan Barry, and if you don't mind, like raising your hand a little bit, Ivan Barry, Gio Botello, Zach Fouché, and Brian McShay. Very intertwined in the musical DNA of some of our favorite bands that we've had on the show and of everything. So actually, let me put it this way. Sometimes in sports, people say, oh my God, like the coaching tree. You know, Bill Belichick comes from the coaching tree of Bill Parcells or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you guys come from like the coaching tree of, you know, Katie Gavin, Naomi McPherson, you know, Brian Robert Jones, Vampire Weekend, stuff that our show gravitates to. So great tree.
Nice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Brian is probably the Belichick in that scenario.
Yeah.
But I'll happily be Josh McDaniels or something.
Oh my
God.
God.
To, like ridiculous football trivia, then I'm your guy. But
Dan Marino.
Oh, guys, that's hilarious. So you guys describe yourself as, you know, your friendly neighborhood emo band, which sounds like Mr. Rogers grew a mohawk or something. But how would you describe your band to our audience? How would you describe it?
I mean, I'm writing down Mr. Rogers grew a mohawk real quick. That might be how I do from now on.
Yeah, we were going to pay your royalties on that. I don't know, Ivan. You've had a good explanation for this.
I mean, I don't know. Our band is like 5 best friends, 4 best friends kind of a thing. It's just been a long time coming. All of us have been separately involved in seemingly a billion different projects, and sometimes all like different configurations of us at the same time, but never all on one project. And this is the kind of the culmination of that.
Yeah.
And it's a long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And the description for your new song "Wither Away" is quite strong, actually. You know, it's you guys describe it as born out of the desperation we felt from wasting our early 20s living lifestyles that routinely depleted our creativity and inspiration. We were tired of following a monotonous way of living and ached to feel passionate about our lives again. You know, did each of you have these realizations separately? Those are mature, brave fucking words. You know, like to say "fuck it." Let's go after what we like.
I mean, thank you for saying that. Yeah, that is definitely how we feel. I mean, I would say I probably had the most severe experience of us, but you know, we were all at kind of like a weird place in our lives when we started to kind of do this. Like we all of us went to school for some sort of you know, musical profession of, you know, kind of like be professional in the music industry, and we still do, you know, that in varying degrees, but I think it all kind of hit around the same time that it's like, this is nice, but this isn't the pinnacle. Like I'm not, you know, like I got like a desk job and it was like, that's something that I thought I wanted for a really long time. And, you know, a couple months into it, I was like, all right, this is fine. I'm paying rent. I need that. Like that's important. But, you know, it wasn't fulfilling that like inner part of me. That was kind of the reason that we're doing this in the first place, just to have that thing where it's like, I don't want it to feel like a job. I mean, I'm down to work hard at it and make it a job, but I don't want it to feel like this is something that like I hate doing. And it was starting to become that. And this was kind of the escape to be like, this is what it's really all about, you know, like just being able to, you know, not only are these guys my best friends, but they're also like 3 of the most talented and smart people that I know. And not only just having that, but also the fact that we can just, you know, bullshit with each other and it's kind of effortless.
Yeah.
Just makes the whole thing better in so many ways.
Yeah, that's what it looks like on your music videos and stuff, that you guys are just having the best time.
Now we are.
Yeah.
Good
when
job,
we
kid.
when we got together, we I think we came together because we just were writing together for fun, and it was kind of all about the same. A lot of it was about the same topic of the doing the thing that depletes your creativity and makes you feel empty, and realizing you need to change that. And I think that's kind of what made us be like, oh, we should start this band, and also we should change this about our lives for real.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
glad that's coming through in the music videos because
It is.
that's the kind of life I want to live and promote.
Listen, guys, that takes balls. You know, everyone wishes they could do that. And now with COVID, people are having these realizations, and it all boils down to that. People just want to like chase their dreams and their passions, and many
Well,
can't. Yeah, guys. So you know, listening to your stuff, guys, it's very retro, but it's very fresh at the same time. And what I like is it avoids. I know you guys use probably Pro Tools and you use stuff, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you just kept it emo rock. So I'm just curious, was there any pressure of you guys to like add any of the shit that's relevant now? Like, oh man, like we should put some synthesizer in there. You know, like the Weeknd's doing. You know, like. Exactly. Like, was there any pressure to like just like embellish it like that, or did you just like kept it clean?
No.
I think a lot of what we try to get from our music is just to kind of preserve that, like, we just wrote this in a fucking basement because like we just wanted to. And I think, at least for me, tapping into this project was a lot of like trying to get back into that version of myself, of just kind of like our biggest aspiration in high school was like, oh my God, what if we play the Worcester Palladium with 4 Years Strong? Like, and like that was the main motivator. Like, it wasn't like, I want to get on this Spotify playlist, I want to get here, I want to make this amount of money. I think like so much of the hype about punk, at least when we were growing up, was just like playing great shows, like playing sick shows, like, and then hopefully you get to like make some badass merch, because like that was fucking fun as shit.
Yeah.
And then like everyone having that moment in the set where it's like, oh, this is like that fucking breakdown that I wrote, and like I get to like flip out, and like I get to like do a stupid spin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think so much of the ethos of the record was just like trying to tap into that and just doing something to just fucking do it, rather than like, I need to like, this is for like my financial well-being. Like, we need to like get to this Spotify level, whatever. I think sonically speaking, it was just, we wanted to sound like it just came out of a garage or like my parents' basement, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad cheated on my mom, and, and my basement is now an Airbnb, but like, let's make that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think sonically speaking, I certainly didn't feel any pressure to make it a certain, sound like a certain thing, or like add synths because of this influencer fucking loves synths, so we got to put that in. So I think a lot of it was just us trying to preserve that like fuck it mentality of like being in high school.
I love it. And that is timeless, guys. Like, you can't fake that. Like, some of the bands you love, Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Blink-182, like that's part of what makes it so authentic and, timeless. So you guys mentioned that you've been entangled musically for a long time. Gio and Zach, I want to ask you guys have been friends since the first day of college, basically, a bromance, if you will. I want to ask you, how did you guys connect? Like, was it like locked eyes across the room? What was like, how did it happen?
Honestly, a little bit. So Gio's last name is Botello and mine's Boucher, so both B-O.
I didn't know that was part of it. Your friendship basis is on the first two letters of a last name.
Classic alphabetical fact.
We were in the same peer advising group because they just did it alphabetically by last name. And this dude was wearing these like large Nike like Dunk shoes, like the high tops with skinny jeans and a bright blue shirt and this like dumb hat. And he looked like a kid from my high school named Zach Durkich that I fucking hated. And I saw on his shirt his name was Gio, and I was like, fuck this guy. And then as soon as we were leaving the class, I heard him talking to some other kid who was wearing a shirt. And he's like, oh, dude, you like XYZ band. And I turned around and I was like, oh, dude, I fuck with that band. And then we immediately were just like, oh, you live on the 5th floor? Oh, you're 506? I'm 504. Let's go. Like, we just had that like immediate connection. And then, I mean, Gio and I have done a million things together. we lived in the same room in college for 3 years. Yep.
Yeah.
After,
Pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, after everyone was like, "Oh, we should be adults and move into our own room," Gio and I were like, "Nah, let's have loft beds with our desks."
You're like stepbrothers with Will Ferrell and the other
Yes,
guy.
yes,
Pretty much,
exactly.
pretty
Exactly.
much. Yeah, I mean, we all go back really far. Ivan and I went to high school together.
Yeah.
And I've known him
And middle school.
And middle school. Yeah, I met him when we were in jazz band in 7th grade. I was in
Nice.
7th grade. He was in 6th grade. You can believe this guy is younger than me, even though he's twice as big as me. Kid, as we affectionately call Brian, I was a camp counselor at this like random music camp, and
Wow.
I was the counselor for it. Like in high school, it's like a little NHS, like get your hours kind of thing. And this dude was a student. He comes in and he's like playing as good as me. I was like, oh fuck, I need to go practice. And that was just the
I was like
Like,
12 or 13.
yeah.
Extremely cringy middle school era of myself. Yeah.
That's the beginning, and we've been doing it all together ever since.
Yep.
Hysterical. That's was Zach obsessed with vinyl since camp or not yet, or was that like a later phase
That
situation?
grew later for
That
sure.
grew later.
But I think we can all admit
You've done
that
your
it's grown
research, I
out of
see.
hand.
So I gotta ask you guys. Okay, so 3 of you played in a wedding band. I found that fascinating in college. I found that fascinating, guys, because listen, don't worry, guys. You guys are gonna be the coolest band. Like in 6 months, you guys are gonna be selling out arenas next year. It's okay. It's okay. But we the world needs to hear these stories about playing in a wedding band because it's so fascinating to all of us. Like, what kind of crazy shit did you see like playing wedding bands? Like, what is that like?
Oh, man. I mean, cool shit or just gross?
Just
bad-
whatever, man. Like, 'cause you
Honestly, I don't remember any.
I've definitely seen some consenting adults in the corners where
Yeah.
not totally like probably knowing that I could see them, but everyone else couldn't see them and probably just didn't care that I could see them
Right.
because I'm just a musician.
You were on
It-
stage.
it
when-
honestly-
Yeah,
it might have
but
been
just a
part
few
of it.
times we're just like looking down. I'm like, dang, dude, I can see all of that.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's that side of things.
Yeah. Okay.
That was our job in college. We all had overlap. Brian actually replaced me in the band. We had some
Mhm.
overlap gigs too. I think we probably did a couple where like one of us was the fake keyboard player or something.
Maybe. I think we
But-
did like 3 of those.
yeah.
Nice.
So that was like our job. So I guess in terms of college jobs, it would be
Yeah. No, it's valid.
a
Absolutely.
wedding band, a lot of things worse. And honestly, it made all of us better
Mhm.
at our instruments and kind of made us pros at first, but it is a soul-sucking experience if you do it for too long.
Yeah.
Year, 2 years, kind of get your chops, do it. It's great, but after that, it's just like, oh man, this is.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to really love a lot of songs, man. But once you play September for the fucking 86th time, damn.
Right.
I'm
Ugh.
fine with September. Hey Ya is the one that's.
Oh, Hey Ya.
Oh my God,
is-
no.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that's
Or
so.
not, it's
So
fine.
like, because you've heard that song hundreds of times.
Sure.
We learned the song and then played that song to people who didn't care to hear that song
Yeah.
for hundreds of times.
Hundreds of
But
times.
that being said, it was a fucking good time.
It was.
Unbelievable.
It was a grind, but we did what we had to do at the time.
Unbelievable that people still request that song. Unbelievable. So, yeah, Brian, let me ask a couple questions to you guys individually. Let's start with Brian. How important is it, for example, what kind of, I've always wanted to ask to a talented guitarist this, and you know what, this is for the first time I remember in time for the interview. How important is it, for example, what brand of guitar you play? Like, could I hand you any guitar and you could make music, or is it like that specific?
Any guitar, almost any guitar can work. So there are some guitars that I don't think it's a brand thing though. I think it's just some guitars are unlucky.
Dude,
But,
he's trying to get you to get this endorsement. dude.
Endorsement?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I play Gibson guitars. So if Gibson, if you guys want to,
So remove that. Yeah, it's Gibson.
I don't play Ernie Ball guitars, but I would really.
but for real, it doesn't matter. There are some good brands. There's some, especially if you go like small. I mean, like the big brands like Gibson are fun, but like if you know a guy who makes a guitar, that's going to be the best guitar.
That's awesome.
But it also doesn't matter. Like you can play on an unplugged piece of crap and still figure out how to, play all your favorite songs and
Often do.
how to
Yeah.
write good songs.
Interesting. Now, Brian, let me also ask you about your young fandom with Green Day. I guess you mentioned that American Idiot was a important album in your development. The Boulevard of Broken Dreams, all this stuff. Tell us a little bit about how Billy Joe and all of them influenced kind of like your style.
Well, this is a super serious, dramatic story. When I first heard Boulevard of Broken Dreams, it was me and my childhood best friend, Jacob.
Yeah.
I so love. But after that, I didn't know that I was going to be moving that summer, and I lost all of my friends. And so I was walking down a lonely road when I was like 10, but the last thing, Jacob and I had we heard this song, and so we picked up guitars to learn to play. And I got the book, like the thing that teaches you how to play the American Idiot album.
Sure.
And Green Day is a famously easy band to start with. Like they just have songs that are easy to learn on guitar. So I learned like almost the whole record in a few months, and then I lost my friends, and I was dramatic, and I just dove in. And for like a year and a half, I think the only thing I listened to or played was Green Day.
Amazing.
That's how it started.
Well,
That's a good album. That's a good album. Now, Gio, let me ask you about this. You're a fantastic mixer. You actually worked with Brian on the Sidemen project before. I first heard your mix of Stephanie. Good stuff, by the way. And now this, now this good stuff. What's your favorite thing about mixing? I feel like that's an underrated part of rock bands and music.
My favorite part about mixing is probably the troubleshooting aspect of it. I think so much of it is like a puzzle and like getting over like those aha moments you have, like technically speaking, I think is like kind of addicting. And I don't know, I think there's something about I don't know, the energy of it, especially with this band. Like it's horrible to mix loud, technically speaking, but I just do it anyway. So it kind of feels like a performance, like it's very performative, I think. And I get to be in the song a little differently, having like sort of produced and played on it, and written a little bit, this one specifically. It's nice to interact with it in a more technologically visceral way, I guess. Like I think that's super fun. And it's like another way to just get hyped. Like, oh fuck, like when you nail like the drum sounds and you want to show everybody, like that's, I don't know, that's just super fun. And that was like when I was in bands growing up, like getting mixes from like the guy down the street who you paid like $200 to. You just love being like, oh, like my bass part in this part is sick, or like, oh, the drum fill. So like, I don't know, I think like it's just another way to just be like hyped on all of this.
Yeah.
So,
no, you did a killer job. Like everyone's highlighted, everyone's not too much, not too little. It's perfect.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ivan, tell me about the first time you picked a guitar, because you're also shredding it in that song. How old were you? What was the first song you learned? Like,
so I played drums since I was a little kid, if you can believe that I was ever little. And then as Zach told you, the first guitar I ever got, my parents had a way of just like anytime they could get their hands on a musical instrument of literally any kind, they would just try to get it. And it was often like shitty hand-me-down or just like yard sale crazy shit. And the first guitar I ever got was this, I still have it, this 3/4 scale black, just awful guitar. It had a speaker in it and a shocker sticker on the guitar. And there was a friend of a friend's guitar. He's like, yeah, Ivan's in music, try this out. And so I kind of like pedaled around with it a little bit. Learned it, like I grew up on like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, lots of Jimmy Page and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and like kind of the old head, the typical stuff. But it didn't really kick my ass until I met this piece of shit in jazz band. And I was like, oh, that's way cooler. I was like, that's fucking rad. And also, I don't know if you've ever tried to move a drum set around in a car before, but it's not easy. Showing up with a guitar and a case and an amp in this hand, you're like, this is everything I need, is also pretty rad. And pretty much no one wants to hear you play a song on the drums
Yeah.
ever. So, and
That's a really
it
funny way to
should
put
be
that.
stated that I love drums, and I have, especially in the last few years, gotten really back into it.
Cool.
Now that I have a space that I can play in. But yeah, I'd seen this guy playing jazz band. I was like, oh, that's just like, that's sick. Like I need to get into that really, really hard. And then by the time I got into high school, so 2 years later, like I was going into jazz band and like going after guitar instead of drums, because it was just like, yeah, this is my shit.
I also have to add, Ivan was like the facilitator for our entire region's like just musical everything. We grew up, the three of us grew up in like, you know, suburban Virginia, like just
Right.
south of DC, and it was just like cookie cutter house, like copy paste everywhere.
Right.
And then the one house that was not like that was this large plot of land with this farmhouse and like this extra garage that was Ivan's house. That they turned the garage into this whole jam area. So it just became this like, I mean, imagine being like 15 or 16 and like first getting into music. And then this dude is like, oh, hey, my dad and I built a stage and we can you can come do house shows on our farm. And you know, in the midst of suburbia and like getting noise complaints from all the Karens being like, oh, it's 9 p.m. and I need to watch like
All the
Sky or
Karens.
something. And,
Right.
yeah, and you know, so he was, Ivan and I guess his family they kind of gave me and Brian, or people like us, kind of a different thing to experience and be like, oh, this is what it's really all about. You mean I can just go in your garage and play an amp fully loud at 11 p.m.? Like,
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Fuck yeah. Don't worry, Ivan, man. Chicks love the guitar. Look at this guy, Brian. That's why he's so happy. Just chilling, smiling there, man. He's like, I picked the right instrument. By the way, guys, as a side note, like, if you guys need to do like some sort of like mini documentary about this jazz summer camp or something, like a video, like Blink-182 did those old school videos with the short shorts, some kind of shit like that, because that's an epic story for another day. Zach,
yeah,
I asked you about the vinyl real quick.
Sure.
You're a vinyl enthusiast, to put it mildly. I think as your Instagram starts catching fire, people are gonna realize that it's like going to, I don't know, Tower Records in the 90s or something. It's great, man. And I say that as a compliment, dude. You have like, you know, Casey Musgraves, you know, with the color, you describe it, the review. It's really cool. Queens of the Stone Age. It's really cool stuff, man. When did this you know, thing with vinyl start? You know, how did it develop? That's great.
Oh, well, you've clearly done your research, so thank you for that. Thank you for plugging the IG. Need all those followers. So, no, honestly.
By the way, it's Zach J at Zach J Boucher. I didn't properly.
So I worked at a record label for a while. I was a music business major in college, and kind of around the time, like I was collected CDs kind of religiously, and you and I, really all of our friend Colin, when we were in college, he was like, I don't know anyone who buys more music and also steals more music than Zach. That's just kind of like my vibe. I've always just been like, if it was illegally downloading, I would do that, but then also buy the CDs I supported, you know, whatever. And then kind of around the time that streaming became a thing, I was like, it is very stupid of me to continue buying CDs. And just like, there's no function, like, I'm not in my car all the time. Like you know, so as soon as I was like, I'm getting a Spotify membership, I was like, I need a new thing. And it was right when I started working at the record label too. And like the guy that did all the vinyl sat next to me, and we would kind of start to nerd out a little bit. And he'd be like, oh, I'm going to do this variant for this XYZ artist. And I'm like, I like this. And I don't know, there's a collectibleness to it that is definitely like the adult Pokemon cards. You know, like I have all of the 150 first Pokemon cards as a 5-year-old. And then now I have, you know, like the most limited variant of the Year of the Knife album or some stupid thing like that. That doesn't matter. You know, the little like collector cred for me. But it's just a different way to experience it. Really, I think like what I try to do is if there's a band I'm interested in, I'll pre-order it. And, you know, oftentimes you can find it at the store too or something. But like, you know, one of our favorite bands, for example, is like The Story So Far. I'd say it's probably our collective favorite band. And I think this is probably the first time you ever listened to them, or maybe you really did it, was because I got their most recent album, pre-ordered it, and was really stoked. And it's a way to be like, hey guys, tonight, like as though you'd be like, all right, tonight we're gonna watch this movie. Like
Mhm.
everyone, we're gonna turn off the lights. We're gonna all sit
That's
in the
cool.
living room. We're gonna get stoned, or we're gonna have some drinks or whatever, and we're just gonna watch this movie. But do that
Yeah.
same exact thing for music.
Mhm.
And I think if you're just playing it on Spotify, like the ability to change it or pause it or do anything is so easy. And having
Yeah.
the limitation of the medium and being able to be like, tonight, what we're doing is we're listening to this fucking thing. We're gonna
Yeah.
listen to the first side, go pee at the when I flip or something, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna finish it, and then we'll talk about it. And it's just a way that you can like, despite the the silly collectorsness of
Yeah.
it, a way to just like, because it does sound worse than digital, like for sure.
Wow,
Uh,
you're gonna get a lot of hate for
Yeah,
that.
that was a bold
You're about to
statement.
get a lot of hate for that.
Well, it just technically does. It
I'm
sounds
not
different.
fucking with you.
It sounds different. It's less loud and it's less compressed, and that to me is like what I like.
There's
in
more
music.
warmth and breath, but it is, yeah.
Yeah, you just have to treat it differently, and it's on top of it being, it's just a different thing, and it's just a different way.
Yeah.
So there's that whole element, but it's really just like, how do I get my friends all together and get everyone to like experience this together and take it seriously? Like I remember when, I don't know if you're familiar with the band Daughters, but they're like a insane noise rock band, like melt your brain, so crazy type shit. And I remember listening to it. It was the first time I listened to a record and it like literally scared the shit out of me. And Ivan was moving to LA like the next week, and I was like, dude, I'm getting this vinyl. As soon as you get here, we're getting stoned and we're listening to Daughters.
That's awesome.
And we all just sat there and just in the dark let our brains be like absolutely destroyed. And they were like,
Fuck yeah.
oh, dude, I really love the drum tones, and just got to talk about it and be dorks. And
Yeah. No, that's great, man. I feel like kids are losing that journey with the vinyl. And sometimes you gotta sit through it, listen to the shitty song on side B, to get to the hit. Like that whole thing, man. That matters absolutely. Yeah, guys. All right, you've been so generous with your time. Let me ask you just a few more questions because Gio is itching to go make some more last minute shit. Hold on, I can feel it. He's like, God damn it, I should turn the something down or whatever.
Push that fader.
Listen, man, just save it, let it go. Okay, so you guys, in the music studio, it looks like you guys have the best time. But like, take us a little bit inside the music studio. Are you guys like a 50 take kind of band? Like, no, man, Brian, we need your pitch to be a little more Adele in that one, or like, are you guys more like, listen, like that's good, like send that to the press, like chill?
I think we do a lot of takes.
I wouldn't say we do a crazy amount of takes.
No.
Because I've seen crazy amounts of takes, and that's like
We do an
bananas.
efficient amount of takes.
Yeah.
we don't leave any stone unturned, but we also don't burn anything out. That's the line where it's like, all right, let's explore every opportunity and every possibility, musically, dynamically, whatever have you. But then also like, let's preserve the spontaneity and like kind of whatever magic of it that we can, without sacrificing a good performance.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Zach produces. He produced most of this record, and all of us like produced bits and pieces here and there. But Zach was definitely the figurehead of getting this steamrolling this album along the many years it's been worked on. But yeah, I would say that's kind of the vibe that we go for when we're in the
That's
studio.
awesome. That's awesome, guys. And of course, the song is going to be released this week. So by the time this airs, it's already going to be out. What's next for the band? Are you guys going to release like a few more singles? Like kind of what's the plan? What can you give us? What hints can you give us?
We're breaking up, man. One and done. Shit, it's been a long, tireless journey.
Yeah, we'd actually like to announce our breakup right
Yeah.
now.
And farewell
No,
tour.
we've just announced the band to the world. For
Yeah.
the most part. So we're just gonna roll out some singles, some songs, just to kind of see what people
Cool.
like, and just kind of take it from there. People can definitely expect music from us very frequently, though.
That's freaking awesome.
We will
Can't
be
wait.
supplying the X content X that everybody needs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Brian, last question: have you guys thought about like your live shows yet? Like have you guys thought like, man,
Oh my gosh.
we're gonna be like,
First person to ask about that, by the way.
like, have you thought, are we gonna be like Kiss, have fireworks? Maybe Gio put on some makeup. Like, are you gonna have Coldplay with confetti, or Bob Dylan kick off the people that take phones with their smartphones? Like, what's going on? What's the live show gonna be like?
Have you seen Cirque du Soleil? The live
Yeah.
show, I mean, honestly, remember Green Day's Bullet in the Bible, like Green Day's live shows? I
Yeah,
would say
hell
we're
yeah.
like I think that band has thrown poop on stage, which maybe we wouldn't do.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
but
Yeah.
holy crap, yeah, have we thought about it? I mean, I'm
love it.
alive. I'm a live guy. I
That's
love
cool, man.
it. That's why I like to do so many takes, honestly, is because just like to keep doing it.
That's awesome. That's a great example. Billy Joe's a massive, great guy, great
Oh
performer.
my gosh, he's a huge, like, larger than life entertainer. He's a great singer.
Yeah.
Great showman, can go on for hours, which I really, really admire about him.
Yeah, it's a shame that we weren't able to play shows prior to this because
Yeah.
you know
Right?
we do a good job, but this guy is a literal fucking rock star over here.
Mm.
Like
Crazy.
like oh this yeah. So
Yeah, so like it was going to be a huge component, and then the world shut down, and then so that changes things. But man, as soon as that stuff's back on, or as soon as we can do a live stream or whatever, it's full pyrotechnics for us. I mean, figuratively, literally, I don't really know, but we definitely would be like a explosive big thing. Definitely not a lazy
That's
show.
epic, man. Epic, guys.
Awesome.
Can't wait to experience you guys live, man. Like your new single "Wither Ways" coming out this week. It's gonna be out now by the time this thing airs, so check it out. Check out all the new singles that hopefully come out. But guys, what a great talk, man. You guys are an epic. We need a rock band of white guys like you in 2020, guys.
hey man, that's what we've been saying. Rock bands with white guys.
You never
Awesome.
hear about them anymore.
Never hear.
No, you really don't. But no, guys, seriously, great music. Congratulations, and we can't wait for everything. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks
you
so
so
much,
much
man.
for having
Appreciate
us.
it.
All right, man. Take care, gentlemen.
You too.
Bye.